Alright, so I'm going to do Ted Nugent. Well, I'm not going to. I'm making a video on Ted Nugent. And the reason being, Stranglehold was something that kept me awake at night before I had even started playing guitar. I must have been about 13. And I must have had that album, boy, I can't remember a lot, the chronology of things, but at some point I picked up that Ted Nugent. Maybe I was 15, because I can't believe that I would have been listening to Ted Nugent when I was 13. So I must have been 15 or 16. But it was something that kept me up, and I mean, just the greatness of that song. And then the whole album, Ted Nugent, you know, it's kind of a funny name, like a silly name, Ted Nugent, like. But that's what it was. It was an album that said Ted Nugent on the front of it, and it had Ted playing his guitar. That was the cover art. Now, I didn't even realize that Derek St. Holmes was the singer for pretty much like 8 out of 10 songs or whatever it was. But that didn't matter. Ted was, you know, I don't know if he has the greatest chops, but he definitely has his own style that he put together all by himself. And yeah, so there's that. And he worked hard. He really toured a lot, you know, and there's all kinds of stuff in his personal life. I don't even want to get into that, because if you look at a lot of musicians, they are, you know, they're not the great, you know, they're imperfect human beings. But the point is, what do you think of their music? Not what do you think of their views or their actions or their personality, you know, off the stage or out of the recording studio. So I'm keeping it on what do you think, what do I think of their music. And there's 2 albums, Tooth, Fang, and Claw, from when he was in the Amboy Dukes, and Ted Nugent. Those are like desert island albums. Like if you were stuck on a desert island, which records would you want? Which one record would you want? Well, those would be in consideration. Now, I might, as I go through all these guitar players, making videos of a bunch of them, I might mention that more than once. But those are great records. And, you know, though, by the time, I think the next one after Ted Nugent was, it was a black and white cover. It didn't have Wang Dang Sweet Poon Tang. It was Free For All, okay? Even by Free For All, he had just fallen off in my mind. So it was 2 albums he really smoked, you know. Just my opinion. And then, and Cat Scratch Fever, I think was after Free For All. So Free For All was sort of in between. It had, I think it was pretty good. It wasn't as great. And by the time it was Cat Scratch Fever, I was pretty much done listening to Ted Nugent. I must have been listening to Zapp or something by then. But Double Live Gonzo is another great record. And it has a lot of tracks from Tooth, Fang, and Claw and Ted Nugent. Anyway, I think he's, in his own way, Ted Nugent is a great guitar player.